This is the Louie T Network.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report Live. Last night was a rough one. Took it right on the chin. And as you know, dressed in all black like the Omen, so you know what that means. We took one on the chin last night. And it just wasn't any old Jordan Reed right cross. It wasn't any old tap on the chin. This one hurt. And normally they don't sting this much when it's not inside the division. You know, when you lose to Dallas or Philly or New York, those sting, especially when it's close. You've got expectations. Game doesn't go the way you intended it to go. Those usually sting. But this wasn't any of those teams. And this one wasn't supposed to sting as much as it does. Maybe because the realization set in last night that maybe we're not one of the best 6 teams in the NFC. And for the longest time, you couldn't convince me that we weren't one of the best 6 teams in the conference. I said, look, we may not be the best. Hell, we may not be in the top 4. We probably don't deserve to play a home playoff game. I was cool with that. But I said, there's no way you're going to explain to me that we're not one of the best 6 teams in this conference. I wasn't willing to listen. And then there was last night. Last night was humbling. Last night was frustrating. Last night was disappointing, all rolled into one. And to me, last night was by far and away the worst performance of the season by our Redskins. Now, we've had games where we couldn't stop anybody defensively, and the defense actually, this sounds crazy, I know, wasn't actually that bad last night. Yep, I know. Sounds crazy. And this next statement that I'm about to make, that's also crazy. But it's true. If the defense gives up 26, we're supposed to win. 26 for our defense is like 16 for everybody else's defense in the league. If we give up 26 points on defense, we're supposed to win because our offense is supposed to score more than 26 points. Mandatory that we score more than 26 to win every week. If we don't, most likely we're going to lose. That's been the motto. Score 30. That's been the benchmark every week. You could go ahead, almost like saying, gotta win the turnover battle. You know how that's cliche to say? Gotta win the turnover battle. Gotta win the turnover battle. Well, with our 2016 Washington Redskins, this edition, gotta score 30. That's been the motto all season long. Gotta score 30. Gotta score 30. You don't stand a chance if you don't score 30. And we scored 15. You scored half of what we need to win. And the defense gave up 26. We're supposed to win. Look at the vast majority of our wins this season. I guarantee you we scored over 26 points. 27 has been the magic number. 27 or 29, that's been the magic number for us this season. We've probably eked out 1 or 2 games scoring 24 or 26 or something of that sort. But for the most part, 27, 29, that's been the magic number. We scored 42 on Green Bay. Got to score over 30. Got to score over 26 at least. This was worse than the Pittsburgh game to me. And I explained the reason why last night. And we're not going to get into Redskins game notes. Again, there was a thorough breakdown last night on the Redskins, or on the breakdown on Monday Night Football overtime, talking about all of the things that went down. It was just a frustrating night. Things that you're not accustomed to seeing from this Redskins football team. You saw it last night. And it's amazing that it takes a performance by the offense that's disappointing to really make you feel this way. Because the defense has been letting us down all season long, and yet we've just grown accustomed to the defense playing bad. We've become jaded by bad defense to the point now where we're indifferent about the Redskins defense being bad. Well, we know we're going to give up 26. So go score 30. We've gotten to the point where we're indifferent about this Redskins defense. But the offense, that's what we hang our hat on. That's where we're supposed to shine week in and week out. So when that doesn't happen, that's when you become concerned. And like I said, in December, wrong time to have a game like we had last night. At home, nonetheless. Be one thing if that was in Carolina, you lay an egg on the road, okay, you can accept that. That was at the crib against a 5-8 Carolina Panthers team that was essentially playing for just to have a 500 record this season. They're still mathematically a playoff team with aspirations. Come on, be serious. They need everyone to essentially lose out and they win the final 2 games for them to get in. It's not happening. I can assure you of that. So the level of disappointment and frustration from last night's game is palpable. I did the show last night, and I had Redskins fans essentially going bonkers on the team, cussing out players and going absolutely berserk, talking about how we shouldn't make the playoffs and we don't deserve to go. And I said, guys, relax. We just lost 1 game. 1, that's it. Albeit embarrassing on Monday night. We'll get to all of those factors and all of those different things and why we lost the game and things that I'm frustrated. Oh, you know what's coming tonight. And if you don't, F that is coming tonight. Bringing that back. So I got some things to get off my chest tonight, as I'm pretty sure you guys do as well. And so we'll get to all of those things tonight. As I said before at the top of the show, no Redskins game notes necessary tonight. I did that last night. I don't need to rehash Deshaun Jackson trying to chest catch the football and letting it go right through his arms on 3rd and 3. I don't need to rehash Pierre Garçon after the announcer put the kibosh on him by saying, well, Pierre Garçon just set the record, 100 consecutive catches without a drop. And in 3rd and 2, Pierre Garçon with a drop. I don't need to rehash those things. I don't need to rehash the Redskins offensive coordinator, who I love, Sean McVay, thinking it's a good idea on the 6-yard line to have Vernon Davis sift blocking across the field, blocking a defensive end who bull rushes him into Kirk Cousins, forcing a fumble that's scooped up at the 1-yard line, and 2 plays later, they're in the end zone for a touchdown. I don't need to rehash those things. It hurt yesterday. I don't need to do it again. Oops, I already did it. I don't really need to go over yesterday's game. But I do have some gripes, some things that I've seen throughout the course of the season that has bothered me, and it's reached its point, the tipping point, that is, to where now I feel like I must address it tonight. And yes, even the pen is all black. We all black tonight. We all decked out in all black because the Redskins went down last night and went down hard. And so I'm going to get to some of your comments here in a second, but let's go ahead and jump into what I affectionately term, F that. Let's jump into that right now. So, let's jump into F that. And let's start with the first thing that's on my mind. Redskins playing on Monday Night Football. And you would love to just say, well, it's a home thing. Redskins, since 1998, have lost 16 out of 17 home Monday Night Football games. F that. I don't even want to play on Monday night anymore. I don't want to play on the road. I don't want to play at home. I don't want to play on Monday night anymore. I'm done with Monday Night Football. Thursday's cool. Sunday's all right. Monday, no. F that. I don't want to play on Monday night anymore. We don't handle that spotlight well at all. And like I said last night, this was a collective effort to lose this football game. This was a total fail by the entire organization. This was an organizational loss. The coaching staff, they were outcoached. I said that last night. And Jay Gruden said it today at his press conference. He was outcoached. Yeah, you're damn right you were. Okay? Joe Barry, outcoached. Sean McVay, outcoached. We were out-executed. We were outplayed. We were out-physicaled. We were out-hustled. Everything that you could do well on the field, the Panthers did it better than we did last night. Everything that you could do off the field as far as coaching and preparation and those things, the Panthers did it better than us as well. They looked like the team that was fighting for a playoff spot, not us. But that goes back to my original point. I don't need an extra day to wait and build up the anticipation for my team to get their ass whooped. I don't need that. You know what's worse than getting your ass whooped on a Sunday? Getting your ass whooped on a Monday. You know why that's worse? Because everybody's watching you. At least on Sunday, you can blend in. Everybody else is playing a game at 1 or 4. Hell, even if it's a Sunday night game, people might be like, I might go to bed. I'm not staying up for this. Watching enough football today, I'm going to bed. You still don't have to wait an extra day for an ass whooping, though. There's nothing worse than the anticipation. You watch all the Sunday games, you get excited, you get hyped, only to get let down on Monday night. I'm done with it, man. Nah, F that. I don't want any more Monday night games. If they don't want to give us one next year, I'm totally fine with that. Cool with that. And of course, you know they're going to give it to us anyway. But I don't want to play on Monday night anymore. It's too much. Emotionally, it's too much. Because then you find yourself having to explain to everyone what happened. When you lose on a Sunday, nobody asks you, man, what happened in that game? They don't even know what happened in your game. But when you lose on a Monday, everybody wants answers. People that don't even watch football. Damn, what happened to y'all on Monday night? Man, leave me alone. You don't even watch football. You don't even know the team we were playing. Get out of my face. But that's what happens when you get embarrassed. And it's one thing to lose when you get embarrassed on Monday night, like we always seem to do. It just makes it 10 times worse. So, nah, F that. I'm done with Monday Night Football. Losing to teams we aren't supposed to lose to. The last time I said, nah, F that, that was one of the things I talked about. Losing to teams we're not supposed to. It's okay to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're better than us. It's okay to lose to the Cowboys, even though I hate saying that. They're better than us. It's okay. You can take those. Losing to the Arizona Cardinals, it's not okay. It's not. Losing to a 5-8 Carolina Panthers team at home, not okay. Nah, F that. Don't you get tired of losing to teams you're not supposed to? Everybody assumes we're supposed to beat the Bears next week. We're fine. Are we? We just lost to a 5-8 team. Why can't we go to Chicago and lose to a 3-11 Chicago Bears football team? Their game, they're playing good football. We're going to talk about them a little bit later on. Don't think it's not possible. We got to stop losing to teams we're not supposed to lose to. And I understand, and I said this before and I'll say it again, the Panthers are better than their record indicates. They are. But they're still 5-8 for a reason. Bill Parcells, a wise man, once told me, you are what your record says you are. They're 5-8 for a reason. Now, their talent, the players on their squad say that they're supposed to be better than that. But their record indicates that they haven't been playing up to the level of the talent on the roster. So, because of their record, they're a 5-8 football team. We should beat a 5-8 football team at home. But we didn't. The Arizona Cardinals. They're a 5-8-1 football team now. Gotta beat them. The Saints just went to Arizona, put up 48 points. We barely made it to 20 and lost. Gotta win that game. Can't lose to the Arizona Cardinals. They're not a playoff team. Can't lose to the Carolina Panthers. They're not a playoff team. Can't lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. They're not a playoff team. Got to stop losing to teams you're not supposed to lose to. Until you find a way to beat the teams you're supposed to, and then some of the ones you're not, we're going to find ourselves in positions just like the one we're in now, looking for help, begging for teams to help us get over the hump and get into the playoffs. Instead of controlling the outcome of our season, like we had a chance and an opportunity to do last night, now we need help. Now we looking around at the scoreboard and looking up to see what this team is doing and that team is doing. Begging for teams to take care of this team for us and do us a solid. We'll pay you back in the future. Damn that. Matter of fact, nah, F that. Stop losing to teams we ain't supposed to lose to. Lack of creativity in the run game. One of the things that frustrated me the most last night was the fact that we thought it was okay. It was simply okay to just show up and run the same damn run plays we run every single week, and that we were just going to win up front. I said this last night. I'm going to explain myself once more. We're not a power run football team. We're a finesse football team. Yes, finesse. We throw it better than we run it. We pass block better than we run block. We're a finesse football team. Deal with it. Okay? And you know what the finesse football teams around the league do? They use creativity to help them run the ball because they know they can't just line up and exert their will over the opposition and create a new line of scrimmage. That's not how we're built. We pass protect. We absorb contact. We don't dish it out. That's not what we do. So when you think you're going to run pound draw or duo, which is simply Kirk Cousins taking a couple of steps, turning around, and handing a quick handoff to Robert Kelly, who's going to then hope that our offensive line creates a new line of scrimmage and opens up a hole, which they usually don't, and get some yards, you're sadly mistaken. You remember against Arizona how we ran a lot of runs out of gun and Robert Kelly mysteriously had a really good game rushing the football? Should have had more attempts. We were all crying. Why didn't he get the ball more? Good question. I don't know. Stop asking. I don't know why. Remember the Green Bay game when he had 23 carries for like 137 yards? 3 touchdowns? Remember the creativity? We saw counters in that game. Jet sweep action. Remember all the different things we were doing, and we were so amazed. Wow, we scored in the red zone because they're pulling guards and tackles and pulling tight ends through the A-gap. This is beautiful. We should do this more. Did you see any of that last night? I don't recall seeing anything other than that one handoff we do from shotgun where we pull around the tackle and the guard. That didn't work last night, did it? They were waiting on that. You know why? Because we do the same damn play every week from shotgun with Chris Thompson. You think they don't know that? Well, let's try pound draw. That ought to get them. No, it won't. Because they watch tape and film just like everybody else does, and they know we run the same damn play. When Maurice Harris is out wide and we motion his ass in tight to the line, guess what we about to do? Pound draw. Up the A-gap. You think they don't know that? You think that's going to work? No, F that. It's not going to work. That's why you get 19 yards rushing in the game. Because you do the same damn plays over and over again. Where's the damn creativity in the run game? Stupid. This is one I've been running from all year long. I've been running from this one all year long. And I've been trying to swat you guys away. Like an annoying, pesky fly in my ear. Get out of here. Watch out, man. Stop. Joe Barry as defensive coordinator. I kept telling you guys all season long, It's not just Joe B. We don't have any talent. We're talent deficient. Give Joe B a chance. Nah, F that. Joe B's got to go. You know, I'm not one to advocate another man losing his job. That's not my style. It's not. That's why I've been swatting you guys away all season long. I wanted to let this thing play out. Let's see what Joe B does. What good defensive coordinators do, and I made this analogy last night, is they take the cards that they're dealt and they play the hand the best way that they know how. And maybe that's what Joe Barry's doing. Maybe this is the best he knows how to adapt to what he has. Problem is, that's part of the reason why he was a part of a staff that went 0-16 in Detroit. If this is the best you got, I see why you went 0-16 once upon a time in Detroit. Because it's not good enough. I'm watching the Chicago Bears under defensive coordinator Vic Fangio week in, week out compete with all of these guys off the street and rookies and guys you never heard of. Week after week, somebody else goes down for the Bears. Next man steps in. Some undrafted rookie out of Wichita State. Some undrafted rookie out of Eastern Illinois, Michigan at Wichita State. Y'all just made that up. But these are the kind of guys they playing with week in, week out. And every single week, the Bears are competitive on defense. I watched the Dallas Cowboys, who, mind you, are 12-2. And yeah, I know the offense controls time of possession, this, that, and the third. When are you going to give that defense some respect? Okay? It's not just the offense that's winning them games. Their defense is playing ball week in and week out. And no, they don't have a bunch of household names. They have Sean Lee, and that's about it. And he's getting the most out of that defense. Guys you never heard of on the D-line. David Irvin stepping up, making plays. You know why? Because Rod Marinelli, their defensive coordinator, takes the hand that he was dealt, and he says, look, I only got 2 books in my hand. But if you slip up, I might get 3 or 4. And he's playing the hell out of the hand, the cards that he was dealt. That's what a good defensive coordinator does. Doesn't matter what the cards look like. I'm going to find a way to play the hell out of the hand I was dealt. And I'm going to get the most out of this hand. If it's only 2 books, I'm going to get those 2 goddamn books. If I can squeeze a third, I'm going to get that 3rd book out of there. I'm going to come through for my squad. Joe Barry doesn't do that. We had an injured, wounded Cam Newton. Second possession, Ryan Kerrigan gets to him. He's slow to get up. They got to call a timeout because this man can't run the next snap. They blitzed him 3 times last night that I can recall. And maybe I missed it. I remember a corner blitz, a safety blitz coming late that didn't get there. But the other 2 times we blitzed, hey, what do you know? We sacked Cam Newton twice. That was it. Why we didn't blitz anymore? Don't ask me. Ask Joe B. I'm convinced that he's good at putting players in basic positions. Cover 3, cover 4, cover 2. But when it comes to actually scheming it up and having the balls to make some gutsy calls, that's not Joe Barry. It's not Joe Barry. And another thing that I see with other teams, they coach hustle. Look, man, we may not have the most talent, but we're going to fly to that football. We're going to get 6, 7 hats to that football. So if one of y'all miss, don't worry. It's 3 or 4 of y'all back there to clean it up. We don't hustle. Guys aren't flying to the football. Jonathan Stewart runs to the left. Dookie Anacho should have hit him in the backfield, but he misses. But don't worry. There's 3 Redskins over there. Somebody's going to get him right. Wrong. He's going to stop. Reverse field. Ryan Kerrigan. He's going to run all the way down, lose outside contain, and let Jonathan Stewart back out the backside, out the back door for 11. Where's the rest of the defense? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. That's coaching. That's coaching. And part of the problem is with our coaching staff, you got to damn near sabotage us to get off the field. We have had players starting for us that played 3, 4, 5 games And we knew they were a problem after the second game, yet they started 3 or 4 or 5 more games, and we cut them. They're not even on the team anymore. That's how bad they were playing. But yet it took them 5, 6 games to get them out of the lineup. That's Joe B. There's no consequences for effing up on this defense. That's Joe B. You don't hold players responsible for their actions. They're not accountable for making mistakes. You give them another chance. That's Joe B. Guess what that means? Guess what kind of culture that cultivates? Don't matter. I can F up. I'll still be on the field. No, that's not okay. Nah, F that. You got a safety that don't know where the hell the receiver is. Receiver's 8 yards behind him in the end zone. He's running a post. The damn receiver's running a damn seam route. Touchdown. His ass is still on the field. You got DeShazer Everett. You got Will Blackman. You got all these other guys that you could put in the game. And I saw DeShazer Everett in on that play. Take his ass out of the game. Nope. He's going to stay in the game. You know why? Because of Joe B. And for that, I say, nah, F that. It's time for Joe B to go. We need a real defensive coordinator. I know we don't have a lot of talent. That's apparent. But there's no excuse for the product that we put on the field week in, week out on defense. You get the most out of what you got. You squeeze that rag until it's dry. And then you squeeze it some more. And Joe B don't squeeze the rag at all. He got to go. And lastly, last night, you want me to tell you the thing that really frustrated me the most talking to Redskins fans? And I know you were mad. Look, I'm not going, we family, man. I tell you all this every single week. We family, man. And there's not many things you can do to get me upset because we family. And everybody handles losses and the emotional roller coaster that is the NFL season. They handle it differently. Some people get really excited when you win. They get really low when they lose and they don't want to talk, or they get really frustrated, fire everybody and this, that. I talk to them all. I talk to all of them. I've seen all of the different ebbs and flows in this fan base. I talk to y'all all the time. We family. But you know the thing that really pissed me off last night are the people that say we don't need to go to the playoffs. Where's the psychological sense in that? You need to wash your face if you think that's a smart comment. We don't need to go to the playoffs. Playoffs? Why would you not want to go to the playoffs? Even if we get smoked and bounced in the first round, why would you not want to go? I can't wrap my brain around that. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to go. Once upon a time, and I think I might have even said this on this program, that I said, if we can't bully our way into the playoffs, if we can't play good football, beat good teams to get in, I didn't want to go. And then when I think it was immediately after that show, I sat down and I said, do you hear yourself talking? Who the hell do you think you are? Huh? Huh? You think you're the Green Bay Packers? The New England Patriots? You think you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? One of these teams that go to the playoffs just about every damn year? And even the Steelers have had a little drought where they haven't been going every year. You think you're one of these good franchises that go every single year? Hell no. You're the Washington goddamn Redskins. You haven't been relevant in the NFL landscape since the early 90s. Who the hell do you think you are talking about if you don't win this and you don't do that, you don't want to go? Man, you better take your ass and go to the damn playoffs when you get a chance. Do you realize we haven't been to the postseason 2 straight years since 1991, 1992? We went 91, 92, 92, 93. Last year, Joe Gibbs, that was it. We haven't been twice in a row since. You're talking well over 2 decades. Pushing 3. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? And you talking about you don't want to go? It's a mindset. Let me explain this to you. If we don't go to the playoffs this year, everything that we built last year by winning the division is gone. You know why? Because you know what the statement is going to be next year? We just want to get to the playoffs. That's going to be good enough. I just want to get to the playoffs. No, That's not good enough. If we go to the playoffs this year, that'll be 2 straight years of guys getting used to playing bonus football. There's no replacing the experience of going to the postseason. Last year, we got a home playoff game. If we make it this year, it'll be a road playoff game. Then you can say, all right, the core group of guys on this football team have been to the playoffs 2 years straight. They've been on the road. They've been at home. They know how both look. They've got the experience necessary. And now they expect to go to the playoffs. It's a mindset. Now I expect that going to the playoffs is not good enough. No. I don't go into the season saying, hey, just want to make it to the playoffs. The Packers don't say, no, we just want to get to the playoffs. No, they want to win the Super Bowl. When you go to the playoffs, you know what the Raiders went into this season saying? We want to get to the playoffs. They won a game yesterday to clinch a playoff berth for the first time since 2002. The only team with a longer drought than them, Buffalo Bills, 1999. Haven't made it in this millennia yet. Okay? Haven't been to the playoffs in this millennium. Only team, Buffalo Bills. You know what the Buffalo Bills are saying? We just want to go to the playoffs. You know why? Because they haven't been in such a long time. That's their mindset. That's their mentality. I just want to go to the playoffs. That's not good enough. That's what mediocre teams say. I just want to go to the playoffs. You go 2 years in a row, it changes the way you think. You don't want to just go to the playoffs next year if we make it this year. You want to go and you want to do damage next year. You're trying to win a chip. That's what it's all about. We don't make the playoffs this year. And you know what we're going to be saying next year? We just want to make the playoffs. I just want a ticket to the dance. You hear me say that all the time? I just want a ticket to the dance. I just want to get in. That's okay for this year. I just want to get in. That won't be okay for next year. Because then you will be able to say, we've been twice in a row. This is an expectation of this team. We're good enough to get into the playoffs. We need to do damage when we get there. You know why Josh Norman came to Washington? He could have went to New Orleans. He could have went to San Francisco. There were other options out there. You know why he chose us? Because we went to the playoffs last year. He wanted to go to a winning football team. He did not want to go somewhere where he was going to be a part of a rebuild. He wants to win. You want to be better on defense? Yeah, we need to draft better. But you want to attract, like the Giants did, free agents? You got to win. Those players didn't go to New York because the Giants are this juggernaut football team. But do you know what the Giants can say? We won a Super Bowl just a few years ago. We got Eli Manning. We win over here. They haven't been to the playoffs since they won that last Super Bowl. You think those players care about that? All they heard was you won a Super Bowl in 2011 and you got Eli Manning. So they're thinking, we got a shot. That's what winning can do. So not going to the playoffs, that's not smart. It's a mentality. So those Redskins fans that keep saying we don't need to go, it's two different arguments. We don't deserve to go and we don't need to go are two different arguments. We don't deserve to go. Hell no, we don't deserve to go. When you lose to the Arizona Cardinals, Cincinnati Bengals, and the Carolina Panthers, all teams who are sub 500 football teams, no, you don't deserve to go. Do we need to go? You damn right we need to go to the playoffs. Do I want to go? Hell yeah. So for all those Redskins fans saying, nah, we don't need to go to the playoffs. Nah, F that. Damn right, if I get a ticket, I want to go. And we still can. And there's some scenarios that have to play out, but we got a damn shot. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a damn good one. All right. So I've said my piece. Let's get to some of y'all comments, man. See what y'all talking about. All right. SW Mike says, it just feels like that was the Redskins' last chance. We have to depend on two teams now, man. And that's what's the difference between Monday night and Thursdays and Sunday nights. And he said, and what's the difference between Monday, Thursday, and Sunday? I can't explain it. I don't know why the extra day of preparation makes us worse. I can't explain that to you. But to go back to your initial point, it was not our last chance. It feels like it to you. It was our last chance to control our own destiny. Sure. Green Bay could lose to Minnesota this week. Tampa Bay could lose to New Orleans this week. And boom, we would control our own destiny again if we won. But again, you're asking for teams to do things that I'm not comfortable asking them to do. I'm not comfortable asking Minnesota to go into Lambeau and beat Green Bay. I'm not comfortable asking the Vikings to do that. I'm just not. I'm not comfortable asking a New Orleans Saints team that lost to this same Bucs team just a couple of weeks ago to defend their home turf and beat the Buccaneers. I'm not comfortable asking that of them. Can they do it? Sure they can. It's family business. Both of those games are divisional games. They're family matchups. They're family members. They know each other. But I'm not comfortable relying on other teams to do what we could have done ourselves. So that's what happens when you lose games that you're not supposed to lose, which is what I just said, which I just referenced. Stop losing to teams you have no business losing to. And you won't be in a position like this. Well, we did that. So now we got to rely on other teams to do our dirty work for us and hope and pray that teams take care of business for us. So we'll see what happens. SW Mike also says, do you think they go and play back in Washington, this team will improve? Talking about the stadium. That's so far away. They got 3 different places. They can stay in Maryland as they are right now. They can go back to D.C., or they can even move to Virginia, which I think is going to be the most logical destination for them, going to Virginia. But everybody's making a pitch right now as to where to put the stadium. And it's so far away, though. I mean, we've heard things about the stadium, and it's going to be state-of-the-art. And we saw the diagram and what it might be. That's all fine and dandy. But the stadium, they have a contract for FedEx Field until like 2027 or something like that. Like, we're talking about another whole decade. So it's hard to even fathom that and even talk about it right now. Edward Couture says, do you think the Vikings can beat the Packers Saturday? Sure they can. Why can't? I mean, they beat them once already. And I know the Packers are playing much better now than they were then, but yeah, they can beat them. It's a family affair. You know how it is. It's family business. If those two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. Anything happens when it's a family member, man. 2 family members squaring off. They know each other like the back of their hand. Anything can happen. And Aaron Rodgers is still nursing a sore calf. Yeah, they can win that game, but will they? Probably not. Because they don't score any points. They can't run the football. And last time I checked, this defense, they're not playing the same way they were playing earlier in the season, which is a bad omen for a Packers team that has it going offensively now. So it doesn't look good for the Vikings, but you're damn right they can win that game. Jolt EXE 24 says, what up, Lou? Skins blew a huge opportunity last night. I question how much the players want to get in the playoffs. I mean, they want to get in. There's no doubt that these guys want to get in. They just didn't come with their best effort last night. And that's frustrating because they let a team that had nothing to play for but pride come in and play harder than them. And that was evident. That the lack of focus was frightening last night. The drops, the turnovers, missed assignments. That's a lack of focus, a lack of attention to detail. That's frightening. We're in the most critical portion and juncture of the season. Your focus should be laser-like. You should see that football into your hands and catch it on 3rd and 2. You should see that football into your hands on 3rd and 3. Jay Gruden should be ready to challenge a Pierre Garçon catch on the sidelines. The focus wasn't there. Dante Whitner should be focused on Ted Ginn Jr. screaming up the damn scene for a touchdown instead of just backpedaling to nowhere and allowing him to catch an easy touchdown in the end zone. Lack of focus, lack of attention to detail. That's frightening. In December, when you're chasing a playoff spot? Evan Higgins says, playoffs would be a plus as we rebuild. Hopefully we finish off strong. then have the Redskins as an attractive destination for free agents. Think one game at a time. That's all you can do right now. The next game is the biggest game, and that's the Chicago Bears. And like I said, the best thing that we can do is just focus on us. I've said this all season long. I started out the entire season saying, just worry about us. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. If we take care of us, we'll take care of everything. We'll take care of all that we need to take care of. And we didn't take care of us. And that's where it starts with any team in this league, not just us. You can have all these teams lose next week. And if we lose to the Bears, guess what? It doesn't matter. It happened this week. Everything happened that we needed to happen. Minnesota lost. Tampa Bay lost. Everything fell the way that we needed it, the way we needed it to fall. And what did we do? We lost. So guess what? It rendered everything that happened on Sunday meaningless. It meant nothing. It was irrelevant because we didn't take care of our business. And that's the name of the game. We had a chance to have the best record we've had in quite some time, since 1992, 1991. We had a chance to be 10-5-1, which is better than the 10-6 in 2012 when we won the division. Just listen to what I just said. We haven't had a record better than 10-6 in over 2 decades. And we had a chance to do that, 10-5-1. And we blew it. We blew it. Really disappointing. If you're out there and you want your comment read, make sure you're using the hashtag LouieTLive. Use the hashtag LouieTLive. J Moo says, man, Lou, I was at the game. I made it late to overtime. We just came out really flat and could never capitalize on momentum. And I saw the same thing on television. We came out. And you know what? What's also becoming a really ugly trend for us? Starting games slow. And I was sitting here watching the game with my dad, and I told him, I said, hey, boss, we're going to win this game. We start slow every week. This is a norm for us. Go back. Ever since the Minnesota game, go look at the rest of the games we played after we beat Minnesota. Look at our starts to those games. Look at the first half of those games. I venture to say, and I can't confirm nor deny this right now, but I bet you if you go back and you look at the first half totals of those games, and I think we beat Minnesota about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So since then, I bet you we haven't had a game where we scored double digits in the first half. Dallas, we scored 6. Arizona, we scored 6, I believe. In this game, what do we have at halftime? 9? I think it was 9. Philadelphia game, what we have? 6? 7? I mean, we don't score points in the first half. That's been a trend for us of late. I don't know why. I can't understand. I can't wrap my brain around it. But we refuse to get off to fast starts. Early in the season, it wasn't a problem. Against Minnesota, we scored 14 right off the bat. Against Cleveland, we scored 14 right off the bat. Against Philadelphia, first time around, 14 right off the bat. Jumped out to a lead on them. It was no problem early in the season. We would score on the first possession, get off to a nice start. For some reason, we just can't get off to a fast start. I don't know what it is. Evan Higgins says, D-Jack's skills are hard to find. D needs to improve to be a serious contender. How much longer do you think he has being a threat? Enough time for us to continue to rebuild? If you're talking D-Jacks, I don't think he's going to be back. I still don't think he's going to be a Washington Redskin next year when it's all said and done. As much as I would like him to be back, I think he's gone. I don't think he wants to be here. I think he would much rather be in Philadelphia. Like I said, and I've said this numerous times, he never wanted to leave Philly. And now that they have a quarterback and they're trying to build some things in Philadelphia, I think he feels comfortable going back there. And they're going to pay him what he's looking for, which I'm not sure that we're going to do. I think we have a number in mind that we're willing to pay D-Jacks over the next 3 years. And I think the Eagles are going to take that number, whatever it is, and they're going to make sure that they're a hefty amount over the number that we give him, and he's not going to turn that money down. So I don't see him coming back. I honestly don't. But let me just say this. I see you using the word rebuild quite a bit. There's no rebuild going on here in DC. Like, we don't need to rebuild. When you use the term rebuild, you're blowing it up and you're starting over from scratch. We're not doing that. The offense is intact. We got a young offensive line that's good. We got a quarterback that's not going anywhere, despite what everybody likes to say. And last night they're going to throw that out there and, oh, this is Kirk Cousins and you shouldn't pay him, yada, yada, yada. What the hell ever, okay? We got a quarterback that's old. Do you understand the man just set a franchise record for most passing yards, which he set last year? He just broke that this year. Like, come on, man. Start with the Kirk Cousins nonsense. Please, miss me with that. So we got a quarterback. I think we need to upgrade the running back position. I like Chris Thompson. I like Fat Rob. But as we see, Matt Jones, not where it's at. And they see it too. Took them long enough, but they figured it out. Tight end position, that's fine. We're good there. And I think they're going to have Vernon Davis back. Remember, it's a 1-year deal that he signed. I fully expect them to bring him back after the season he's turned in, even though last night was not a good night for VD. Offense is set almost, basically. And we still don't know what Josh Doxson is. I still think he's going to be a stud. So we're fine on offense. It's the defense that, and if you want to use the term rebuild, fine. On defense, I don't think it needs to be rebuilt. I think you need to retool on defense. There's some stuff on defense that we like. I like Trent Murphy. I think he's had a really good season. I like Ryan Kerrigan. He's got 11 sacks. Now, again, we all know that those 11 sacks don't look like Von Miller's 11 sacks or Justin Houston. If he were to have 11 sacks, we know what his 11 looks like. But it doesn't matter. It's 11, nonetheless. I like him. I like Chris Baker. We got some stuff. We love Stuart Cravens. We love the potential that he brings. You know what Josh Norman is. So we got stuff on defense. We just need more of it. I think Kendall Fuller is going to be good. Give him some time. All right. Jolt EXE24 says, do you think this team lacks passion, the want to make the playoff push? No, I don't think that's the case because they did it last year. And it's essentially the same squad. A couple pieces here and there that are a little different, but for the most part, the core group of guys, they're back. It's the same squad that did it last year. I just think that they're having a problem being consistent this year. One of the biggest issues with us this season has been the lack of consistency offensively scoring the football, putting points on the scoreboard. That's been a bugaboo all season long. All season long. And I think that's something that affects this team because offensively, it's in the back of your mind. We can't get in the end zone. Defensively, they're thinking, we got to go out here and we got to find a way to get a stop because if we don't, our offense isn't scoring any points. Whereas last year, there was a confidence that you could sense with the defense and the offense that if we get the ball here, we're going to score. Like, they can't stop us. You heard Chris Baker say at the end of last year, we're not afraid of nobody. They can't stop us. When we won the division, Chris Baker basically echoed the sentiment of the locker room. Can't nobody touch us. We feel invincible. That's how we felt last year because we knew if we put the ball in number 8's hands, he was going to get us 7. Whether it was Jordan Reed, Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, we were going to get 7 on the board. This year, you're not sure. And even in last year, we had the utmost confidence in Dustin Hopkins. So if we don't get 7, we know we're getting 3. That's not the case this year. He's a little shaky. And I'm still a D-Hop supporter, but I can't, and I told him this last night, I can't protect you if you don't make kicks, man. I can't protect you. It's one thing to miss from 52. It's one thing to miss from 54. You can't miss extra points. You missed the extra point essentially when we tied over in London. You can't miss from 33 yards. I can't save you if you're missing chip shot field goals and extra points. Can't. That's the lack of confidence this season that didn't exist last year. We had the utmost confidence last year. It's not the case this year. We're lacking in that department. And I think it stems from the offense and their inability to score the ball. If we were scoring 33 points a game, do you know what our record would be right now? If we were scoring, put it this way, if we were averaging the amount of points that we averaged last season, we would be probably 9-5 and like 9-5 right now. Damn the one, we wouldn't be tied with Cincinnati. We would have won that game. We'd be like 9-5 right now, straight up. Maybe even 10-4. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that we have had struggles in the red zone has cost us ball games this season. Cost us the Dallas game the first time around. Cost us the Dallas game the second time around. Cost us the Cincinnati game. We dominated the first half of that Cincinnati game over in London. And you know what the score was? 10-7. That's the difference between this year's team and last year's team. And so I don't think it's a lack of want to, or I just think they're not as confident. And I told you what confidence does. It's a vicious and beautiful cycle. Winning begets confidence. Confidence begets winning. And you just repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's beautiful. Why do you think the Cowboys won 11 in a row? They weren't confident at the beginning of the season. They just kept winning. And when you win, you expect to win the next week. And the week after that, and the week after that, and you get confident. And even when you're down 7 or 10, like they were against the Eagles in the fourth quarter, you still think you're going to come back and win. And they did. That's what confidence can do for you. You expect to win. No matter how. We were supposed to win yesterday. When we were down, I'm on Twitter talking to people. They gave up in the third quarter, and I'm telling them, we're going to come back and win this game. And they're like, I don't think so. And I'm like, we're going to win this game. The Panthers don't score points. Did we have an opportunity, or did we have an opportunity? We had an opportunity. We had opportunities. Vernon Davis drops a touchdown. We can't get a stop at the end, but the defense got ample stops in that fourth quarter. They gave us chances, which I wasn't expecting. We had chances. We just blew it. Jordan Reed decides he wants to be a boxer. Knocks us out of range for a touchdown. 2nd and goal from the 27-yard line. What are we supposed to do with that? We already struggle in the red zone. Now you got us outside the red zone without a chance to get a first down. I don't know what you want the guys to do. And so it's frustrating. It really is. Lorenzo Simpson says, Cam Newton on the ground in pain, yet Joe Barry isn't sending the dogs after him. I'm done with his scheme. Amen. Amen, Zoe. I'm done. I'm with you. Last night was the final straw for me. Cam Newton has one arm. One arm last night. He beat us with one arm. Because his right shoulder was not right. And we let him throw for 300 yards. Because we refused to send the house. He would have had to beat us with accuracy last night. He would have had to beat us. And we know Cam Newton is not the most accurate quarterback. He would have had to beat us with accuracy. Or guys would have had to win right off the line of scrimmage and beat us. And I would have been fine with that. I would have said, bravo, Joe. Bravo. You came after him and he beat us. Tip your cap. Say you got us. Nope. We sat back in our nice little soft zone, comfy coverage, and let them pick us apart. It's frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Captain Spartan 04 says, just blame your defensive coordinator and says he needs to be fired. Work for my Steelers. Yeah, we're past that point now. Edward Couture says, have you applied to work for ESPN because you should, Louie? No, I haven't. I appreciate that, though. Jay Moose says, Kirk seems to make a decision on who he throws to before the snap. You know, in one Madden, they had the vision bar for quarterbacks. Kirk's isn't as big as the elite quarterbacks. We used to call it a pizza slice back in the day when you had that little slice for the vision. I think you're right sometimes. I think Kirk predetermines where he's going with the football. You know, he always says that I go where the reads dictate that I should go with the football. That's where I go. And to a certain extent, that's true. But I think there are times where Kirk, in his mind, goes to the line of scrimmage, picks a side of the field that he's going to work, which is what he's supposed to do. The coverage dictates which side of the field. If it's cover 3, then he knows, okay, this is the matchups that I have that I like, and I'm going to work the right side of the field, or I'm going to work the left side of the field. Okay, I get that. Okay, I understand. You cut the field in half. It makes it a lot easier. I get that. But sometimes you got to say, nah, F that. I got Jordan Reed. It's 3rd and 5. I'm going to trust my man Jay Reed to win and get him the football. Like, Jordan Reed shouldn't play an entire half of football and not have a target. Like, that makes 0 sense to me. I don't give a damn what they're doing to Jordan Reed. He should at least have a target. They hadn't thrown the man the football all night. Part of him getting into that fight, A, he wanted to get tossed because he was banged up. He was hurting. But B, he was frustrated. That's not Jordan's mentality. He's not a fighter. He's not a guy that's uber aggressive that wants to get into it with somebody. That's Pierre Garçon. That's Deshaun Jackson. That's not Jordan Reed. But you know what he was? He was frustrated. They didn't get the man the ball essentially all night. And it wasn't like the Philly game when he first came back where you're like, okay, he's banged up. He was out there just about every snap, and they weren't getting him the football. And that's Kirk predetermining reads. I agree. There were times where Kirk made up his mind. Doesn't matter who's open. We got Deshaun running this wheel route up the sideline, so I'm going to throw it to him. No. You got Jamison Crowder winning on an option route. Throw it to him. Don't throw it to Deshaun just because the route is supposed to be a wheel up the sideline and that's where you want to go with the football. He's covered. Throw it somewhere else. So, yeah, I do think that sometimes Kirk predetermines. But I'm not, like I said, this wasn't a Kirk Cousins loss. This was a team loss. Kirk made some ballsy throws last night. That throw to Pierre that should have been a catch that they ruled incomplete. The corner was right there underneath. He jumped and he couldn't get his hands on it. It was a perfectly thrown football. They dropped into coverage all night to the Panthers. They did essentially what the Pittsburgh Steelers did to us. The Steelers dropped 8 all night. The Panthers dropped 7 all night, essentially. They made it tough. And he threw for over 300 again. And it wasn't garbage time yards. It was within the framework of the offense and in the game. But problem was we couldn't get in the end zone. We didn't make plays when plays were there to be made. Chris Deaver says, I was watching you at your after video last night, and I thought you were going to lose your shit, but you were the only guy who can put a smile on his face and keep it moving forward. And that's what I do, man. Like, when I was a kid, I couldn't take losses. I couldn't take them. I was an emotional wreck when I was a kid. When the Redskins would lose, it would F up my entire day. Hell, might even F up half of my week. I've grown as a person. I know how to take these in stride now. And maybe part of it is, and I never get used to, I'm a sore loser. Like, let's get that out of the way, right? I'm a sore ass loser. I hate losing with a passion. I got a story to tell, but I'm not going to tell it now. It's not the time nor the place. But that just shows you how much I hate losing. But bottom line is, you got to man up. You know, ain't no time for pouting and feeling sorry for yourself. We lost. You know what I mean? We lost. We embarrassed ourselves again. And some of that is maybe I've gotten accustomed to the Redskins doing this, so it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't make it any less easier to take. But like I said, if I'm going to do what it is I do, I can't come up here and be impartial to the Redskins or any other team for that matter. I can't be up here upset. I got to do my job. This is a job for me. I enjoy it. I love it. But it's a job nonetheless. I still got to do it. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put that smile on my face. I'm going to talk about the game. You damn right I'm pissed. And I'm going to get emotional. And what I mean by emotional is you're going to see me get upset. I'm going to get riled up, but never will you hear me be up here looking crazy or all somber and, dejected. Nah, that's not me. More comments. We're going to move on. Matter of fact, we're going to stop right here. We're going to stop right here on Brandon Jones. And we're going to go to the Redskins bow and go for week number 16. Redskins bow and go. We're going to go straight to the go this week. There's no reason to put a bow on that nastiness from last night, man. It's Christmas season. And you don't even want to put a bow on that gift last night because that was a lump of coal. We don't want that. I don't even need to put a bow on that one. We're just going to go on to week 16 because it's on to the next, on to the next one. That's what we got to do. And if we want to try to put our name in the hat to get a ticket to the dance, if they're doing a raffle and we want a ticket, we got to win in week 16. And we got to win in week 17. But guess what? You can't win in week 17 and have it mean something if you don't win in week 16. So that means we have to go to Soldier Field, much like we did last year, late in the season. Week 15 last year, we went, Week 14 last year, we went to Chicago and gutted out a win. It was nasty. It was wet, but we found a way to do it. We're going to have to do it again. And this time it might be cold and snowy instead of wet and rainy. So I'm going to have to find a way to get it done, excuse me. And I'm going to tell you right now, you see the Bears record? Look at it. Look at their record. There it is right in front of you. Don't let that record fool you. They're playing competitive football every week. They had those same Packers that we beat. They had their ass on the ropes. And I know that's family business. They had their ass on the ropes. Should have beat them. Let them off the hook. They're a scary group. And Matt Barkley, who started the last 4 games or so, playing some good football, man. Playing some exceptional football. So if you think you're just going to show up to Chicago at Soldier Field and they're going to lay down and give us a W, you got another thing coming. And you know we love to play down to the level of competition. You need not look any further than the Cleveland game. We were down going into the fourth quarter versus the Cleveland Browns, who are currently 0-14. We were trying to lose to those boys for the longest. We love playing down to the level of competition. So don't think for 1 second that we're going to walk into Chicago and get a W. We're going to have to go in there and take a W. They're not going to give us anything. And I'm telling you right now, one, they got a running back that I absolutely love in rookie Jordan Howard. He's a stud. Okay? Jonathan Stewart ran it on us. He's going to run it on us. All right? That's one. Two, Matt Barkley, not afraid to sling it. Not afraid to make mistakes, but he's not afraid to throw it down the field. They're going to throw the football on us. We stink on defense. You know this. This is a fact. Okay? We don't cause turnovers. Green Bay picked them off 3 times. We don't cause turnovers. When's the last time we had multiple turnovers forced in a game? Probably, what was it? Philadelphia game? Did we force more than one in that game? I don't recall. I don't know. I can't recall us having multiple interceptions or multiple fumbles forced in a game. We don't do that. We don't force turnovers. We're horrible. That's the part that frustrates me the most about this defense is like, okay, if you're going to stink, at least find a way to offset some of the funkiness. You can, man, one of the best deodorants for a bad defense is turnovers, man. Put some of that on, spray a little cologne up under your neck. Man, you can make this funk smell a little bit better, make it a little bit more tolerable. We don't even do that. We just stink. You can smell us a mile away. No shower, nothing. No cologne, nothing trying to mask the funk. We just stink. And the Bears are going to take advantage of that. And I already told you, they play defense. They play defense. They're going to compete. And if we're not careful, they will beat us. You've been warned. I'm not as comfortable with this game as I was just a week ago. Last week, I was like, man, we are going to kill the Bears. We are going to destroy the Bears. I was confident. I was uber confident 2 weeks ago. This Bears game. Least of my worries. Least of my worries. I said if we beat the Eagles and we somehow beat the Panthers, and I thought we were going to do both of those things, we're going to smoke the Bears. Oh, I'm not worried about them. Now I'm terrified of the Bears. Because all of the things that we don't do well, they do. And all of the things I thought we did well, like play offense and score points, we didn't do it last week. So what's to stop us from having another dud next week on the road in Chicago? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Brandon Jones says, yep, been saying this too. We don't dominate any team, even the ones ones where we, the fans, think we should. Even if we just beat those teams, I'd be happy. There you go. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. We don't even do that. That's half the battle in this league. You look at the New England Patriots schedule when Tom Brady came back. It was littered with cupcake matchup after cupcake matchup, bad football team after bad football team. You think the Patriots cared? Man, they just knocked them down one after the other. You think they cared they played a San Francisco football team that had lost 10 straight? Nope. They said, we're going to make it 11. I don't really give a damn that you haven't won in over 3 months. We're just going to make it 11 straight that you've lost. You think they cared that the Rams were starting Jared Goff and that he hadn't won yet and they haven't been close? Nope. Don't care. Going to make it your 3rd straight loss as a rookie starting quarterback in this league. On to the next one. You think they care that Tom Brady's first game back was against the Cleveland Browns who hadn't won yet? Nope. Going to put 33 on your skull, beat you 33-13, and keep it moving to the next game. They don't care. You know why? Because they're supposed to beat those teams. Human-like, business-like. They show up, they get the job done, on to the next one. Especially against the teams they're supposed to beat. Yeah. You get a good team in front of New England, they may lose. But that's what happens when you play good teams. You don't know what's going to happen. But you're supposed to be able to predict what happens when you play a bad team or a team you're supposed to beat. You can never tell with us. There's never a game on the schedule that I'm comfortable with. Even when we play a lowly team, I'm afraid. I think that we're going to be the team that lets that team off the hook. If we were playing the Browns next week, I would be fearful that they would get their first win against us. I'm never comfortable. I sat there, my sister is a Atlanta Falcons fan. I said, oh, your next 2 games, you're going to kill those teams. She wasn't trying to hear it, which as a fan you shouldn't be. But in her heart, she knew they were going to kill the Rams and they were going to kill the 49ers in consecutive weeks. And what did they do? 42-0 at one point in L.A. got Jeff Fisher fired. The very next week, they were up, let's call it 34-13 by the end of the 3rd quarter. That's what good teams do. They dispose of the weak. We don't do that. Moving right along. Evan Higgins says, if one coach had to go, who would it be, Gruden or McVay? Unsure how much Gruden is managing the offense. I know Gruden likes the red zone fades. I'm a Jay Gruden guy. Love Jay Gruden. I think he's a great manager of men. I love that about him. If you made me pick, I don't want McVay to go anywhere either. I love Sean McVay. I just think they need to have a little bit more creativity in the run game. But McVay is a genius when it comes to offense. Again, we've had geniuses here before. Kyle Shanahan. We ran him out of town. Like, I love Sean McVay. I just would love to see a little bit more creativity in the run game. Aside from that, Gruden, to me, excellent head coach. He's a player's head coach. They love him. They play hard for him. Even when we were struggling, they played hard for Jay Gruden. He's never lost his locker room once. Not a single time. Remember the Code Red game? They went out and they won. We were down 24-0. They went out and won that game for Jay Gruden because if they didn't, he was going to get fired. And they knew that. They went out and won that game for him. I love Jay Gruden. I think he's the right man for the job. We need to improve on defense. Like, even with the offense somewhat struggling right now, we're so bad on defense that we put a lot on our offense, more than you should. We expect so much from this offense because of the lack of defensive productivity. We put everything on this offense. So when they don't perform, on most weeks, this offense plays well enough to win. But because the defense is so bad, we expect more out of the offense. We just put more on their plate. We don't say, hey, defense, do your job. We say, we know you're going to be bad. Offense, do your job and defense's job. Score more. Don't worry about the defense giving up a first drive possession right down the field, which scares the hell out of you as an offense. Don't worry about the other team having the ability to convert 3rd, 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14. Don't worry about that. You go out and you score a bunch of points. And it's tough. I don't put it on any one of the offensive coaches. The failure this year, if we do not make the postseason, falls squarely on the shoulders of the defensive side of football and Joe Barry. That's me. There have been some games that I felt like we weren't prepared, and that's your head coach. But I feel like if we were better defensively, a lot of these games where we claim we come out flat, we'd be better off. We'd be much better. But part of being flat is when you allow a team to come out and have an 11-play drive that eats up 8 minutes of the clock and give up a touchdown like we did against the Arizona Cardinals. That's coming out flat, but that's also your defense being ill-prepared, which is on Joe Barry. So, I don't know. Brandon Jones says, we're just an unpredictable football team. Can't tell if we're going to win or lose. That's 80% of the league, my man. There's only a handful of teams in this league that you know are going to take care of business week in and week out. And really, if you want to be honest, it's only one team, really, and that's the New England Patriots. Everybody else is a crapshoot from week to week, to be honest with you. You just don't know. You just don't know. And we're one of those teams. We're mediocre as hell. We're right in the middle of the pack. There's the Patriots. Then there's everyone else. And then if you want to split them up into tiers, it's the Patriots. Then it's that second tier, Packers, Steelers, Ravens, those types of teams. And then Seahawks, they're in that second tier. And then there's everybody else. And if you want to go by this season, of course the Cowboys are in that second tier. But the Cowboys haven't been consistent. They were just 4-12 a season ago. So they just started playing good football. But it's like that for just about every team. You don't know what you're going to do from week to week. Jolt EXE24 says, Stewart looked like Shady McCoy on that play. LOL, defense wasn't ready. Terrible, man. We're terrible. CD King says, what are the Skins' playoff chances after this primetime loss? So you've got a situation where here are your basic scenarios for the Redskins to get in. Right now, the Redskins currently sit at the number 8 seed in the NFC, which you got to be in the top 6 to get in. In front of us are the Packers, who moved into the 6th seed. The 7th seed are the Bucks, and the Redskins are 8. So what you, in effect, need to get in, I'll give you the most plausible scenario first. The Packers let's just go with this one. The Lions lose out, okay? The Lions have the Cowboys on Monday night in Dallas. Very losable football game. And in Week 17, they're home for the Packers. That could be for the division. If the Lions lose out and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose once more and the Redskins win their remaining 2 games versus the Bears and the Giants, Redskins get in as your 6th seed. Very possible. As a matter of fact, that's the one I'm banking on. There's another scenario where the Packers lose their remaining 2 games. So do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And really, we only need the Bucs to lose one game, and we'll get ahead of them if we win our final 2. We went, and so you go through the scenarios. Redskins win their final 2. Bucs lose once. Packers lose once. Redskins win their final 2. Lions lose twice. Bucs lose once. Redskins win one of their final 2. Then you need both the Packers and the Bucs to lose their final 2 games. Same thing with, and again, you don't. We can't lose another game. You lose another game, you really don't deserve to go to the playoffs at that point. You know what I'm saying? 8-7-1. You don't need to go anywhere. So I'm not even looking at and entertaining a scenario where we don't win out the final two games. I don't even want to talk about that. If we don't win the final 2 games, we should be watching from the seat of our couch in the comfort of our home, not playing in a playoff game. So, to me, I put it at about 40%. It's still like a 40% chance the Redskins get in. The Lions can realistically lose their final 2 games. The Buccaneers could realistically lose one of their final 2 games. They play at New Orleans, home for the Panthers. We just saw the Panthers. They can go on the road and win. We just saw that. The only reason they didn't beat the Buccaneers the first time around, no Cam Newton. And maybe Cam's not playing in that game either. Who knows? He's banged up. And unlike us, other teams are going to blitz him. So we'll see what happens with that. But in any event, Captain Spartan 04 says, you guys are not using Stuart Cravens. I mean, this guy should have been a tremendous boost to you guys' defense. Well, he was hurt. And he didn't play last night. So, again, that's what happens when you're not watching Redskins football. You don't know. He didn't play last night. He got injured 2 games ago. And he may not play the remainder of the season. But before then, we were using him. And quite well. Could we have done more with him? Sure. But that's Joe Barry. Again, don't ask me, ask Joe B. Brandon Jones says, watch Howard on Saturday. Shaking my head. 100 to 150 yards rushing, another 50 receiving. You've been watching this man this season. You've been watching him, so you know what's good. You know what's coming. Our run defense is beyond bad. Facts. That's hashtag facts right there. Brandon Jones is over there spitting the truth. We call those truth nuggets right there, what he just dropped on y'all. That man just dropped the truth nugget on y'all. Watch what that man does to us on Saturday. Watch. Watch what Mr. Howard does to us. Buck 25, 67 yards receiving, damn near 200 all purpose. He's going to kill us. I'm convinced. All right. CD King says, Rex Ryan for defensive coordinator. I'm all for it. Sign me up. There are a number of defensive coordinators out there that I think could be available when this season's done. Greg Williams, Rex Ryan. I heard Vic Fangio might be leaving Chicago. There are a number of candidates out there. Hell, if Todd Bowles gets canned in New York, sign me up. There are a number of guys that are qualified, overqualified for the job of defensive coordinator that I would love to get my hands on come this offseason. A number of guys will be free. We need to get one of them. Jolt EXE24 says, I admire your faith, man, but at this point, we need a lot of help to get in. Even if we win out, I just don't think we will be fortunate this year. Absolutely. This is the position we've put ourselves in. But like I said, I just laid out the best plan that we have and path that we can take to the playoffs. Win out. Detroit lose at Dallas. I think they're going to lose that game, don't you? And then week 17 for the division. You think the Packers aren't going to be hungry, starving for that division, and go into Detroit and try to win that game? You're damn right they are. That's a really possible scenario. Then you just say, all right, Tampa Bay, lose a game. They could lose at New Orleans. They could lose at home in week 17 to Carolina. So all of those things are doable. None of those things are out of the realm of possibility. That's why I still have faith. Evan Higgins says, true about the playoffs, even if we still have work to do with the roster. I was going to comment about you saying not wanting to go to the dance a few weeks ago. Steps to progress. And that's all I'm saying. I want to go. I definitely want to go. I think going is the best thing that can happen to us. Just from a experience standpoint and just from being able to say, hey, we went 2 years in a row. We got to turn it up and take that next step next season. Brian Twitty says, LOL, damn good one. I don't know what you're referring to there. Brian Twitty says, Dante Whitner is so bad. Yes, he is, Brian. Hope he retires after this season. We didn't cop him off the street, though. Who would you like to see come in at safety? We're probably going to have to address that in the draft. I don't know if there are any good safeties out there that will be available that are young. Generally speaking, when you get a safety, you know what you're getting. And there are not going to be many available on the streets because this league is void of good safeties. If you look around the league, there's not a lot of good safety play. So teams generally hold on to good safeties. You're not going to see them hit the street very often. We're going to have to draft one. If you look at our division, everybody's got a good safety. At least one. The only team that didn't draft their safeties, and they're pretty good, are the Eagles. They didn't draft my man from New Orleans that got drafted out of Ohio State that went to the Saints. They got him in free agency. We had a chance to get him. I wanted him. And he's been a stud for the Eagles. I can't think of his name right now, but every time we play him, he picks us off. He got a pick 6 against us in Washington that turned that game around. I can't think of his name right now, but the Cowboys have Brian Jones. Not Brian. Damn, I know it's Jones. I can't think of his first name right now. But the guy that came from UConn that jumped out of the damn gym at the combine, he's a beast. And the Giants have Landon Collins. He's such a stud. I love Landon Collins. He might be the best safety in the league right now. We need one. We need one in the worst way. It's bad. It's bad. Protect428 says, no more Monday night games. I'm tired of this. Just want to win out and see what happens. Hopefully, after we begin to fix this defense, we get a new defensive coordinator and retain our own, we will be okay. And I agree with that, man. I just want to win out, let the chips fall where they may. If we don't get in, we didn't deserve to get in. Whatever we get from here on out, we deserve it. We did it to ourselves. Whether we get in, we deserve it. If we don't get in, we deserve it. Either way, we deserve it. HTTR to the fullest says, what should we do with D-Hop in the kicking problem? I'm a D-Hop dude through and through, but he's skating on thin ice. He is. Because now it's mental. It's up here. It has nothing to do with his physical ability. It's all here. It's in his head. And he's starting to think now instead of just kicking. And when he first came in the league, he used to say this all the time. I don't approach any kick any differently. 55 yards, 35 yards, they're all the same to me. I try to kick the football as high, as hard as I can, and as accurate as I can. Every kick I approach it the same. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he's thinking, okay, I missed this kick like this last time. I'm going to overcompensate this time. Or this kick went in like this. Maybe I need to do this to it this time. I don't think he's doing the things that made him successful early on in his tenure in D.C. He just needs to get back to just kicking the football, man. Just kick the ball, D-Hop, man. You're too good for this. And I'd hate to see him beat Graham Gano and go somewhere else and help another team win. Then we'll be back to having kicking woes again because there are not a lot of good kickers out there on the streets. We got lucky with D-Hop. We might not be that lucky next time. HBF Calcium says, what do you think of the Steelers-Ravens on Christmas? What do you think the outcome is? Steelers going to win that game, in my mind. Steelers are going to win that game. X Morocios verse says, and I'm sorry if I messed your name up. What are the chances that we keep both D-Jax and Garcon? I put that at about 30%. There's a chance that we keep both. Some of that depends on what Kirk's number is. Do they strike a long-term deal, or are we paying them franchise tag money again and eating up a large portion of our cap? It depends. How good did they feel about the rookie, Josh Doxson? It depends. I think that they're going to extend an offer to both. I don't think they're going to just allow them to walk. I think this is a situation where they're going to extend an offer to both. Will D-Jax take it? I think Garcon is going to be back. I'm convinced that they realize just how big a part of our offense and our team, for that matter, Pierre Garcon is. I think they understand what he brings to the table, and they won't let him go. But D-Jax, I think they're going to extend an offer to him that may be a little less than what other teams are throwing out there on the market, and I think he's going to be gone, and I really think he's going to Philly. I really do. But I'll put it at 30%. Stephen Gomez says, do you think the Panthers defense confused Kirk? Because I noticed that this was the same Kirk we saw in week 1 versus Pittsburgh. They did the same, and I talked about that earlier. They did a lot of dropping, a lot of zone. I thought Kirk actually handled it pretty well. You know, the one pick that he threw, that was a good play by the safety. They baited him. You know, it looked like that guy was wide open. And if Kirk doesn't throw that one on the line but actually puts air on it, he's got him. You know, it was just one of those situations where Kirk read it one way, the safety made a play. Kirk Coleman made a play. But if he puts air on that ball, Kirk Coleman can't get to that football. He's open. But Kirk he made the wrong type of throw there. As for the rest of the game, they were dropping. So you got to take what they're giving you. Problem was, we had the dropsies. Chris Thompson on a drop on a third down. Was that the best thrown ball by Kirk? No, but it was a catchable football. It shouldn't have been dropped. Vernon Davis for a touchdown. That's not on Kirk. That's a drop. Pierre Garçon on 3rd and 2. That's not on Kirk. That's a drop. D-Jax on 3rd and 3. That's not on Kirk. That's a drop. I don't know what you want him to do. There were some reads that he could have made and some plays he could have done differently. You know, the wheel route up the sideline to D-Jax, I didn't like that play. I didn't like that throw. You want pass interference there? Throw it up the field, not out of bounds by 3 yards. Throw it up the field. Give him a chance to get a flag. Not a good throw. But, like I said, I thought Kirk played much better than he did against Pittsburgh in this game. But as a collective team, we looked awful. We looked awful. K. Michael says, would it be in the Redskins' best interest to look into hiring Gus Bradley as the next DC next year? I don't know about that. I don't know. I think Gus is a defensive coordinator through and through in this league. Just depends on what your philosophy is. Gus Bradley's a 4-3 defensive coach. Came from Seattle. Jacksonville, they ran a 4-3. They're a 4-3 team. We run a 3-4. Unless we're making a personnel change and we're making a scheme change, I don't think Gus Bradley's the guy that you want to bring into DC. So we'll see what happens. Greg the Best 14 says, if we hopefully fire Joe Barry, who should we get? Like I said, there are a number of candidates available. Hard to say right now, but I'm open. I'm listening to every candidate that's out there, and you go with the one that you feel the most confident in their ability to get it done. And that's where I'm at with it right now. And just about right now, just about anybody that's a hot name, that's a big name, defensive coordinator, ex-head coach, whatever you want to call them, most of those guys are better qualified for the job than Joe Barry, and probably would do a better job than Joe B has in his 2 years in DC. So I'm willing to make that switch. We got 3 minutes left. It's almost 9:30. I'm going to take a couple more comments, but we're going to jump into the final outcome and get out of here. Vincent Coe says, hey, Lou, do you see Rob Kelly being a featured back for the Skins in the future? I see lots of potential in this guy. I think he's got a shot. I think they're going to bring somebody else in to compete with him in the offseason, but I like him a lot too. I think this guy's a physical, no-nonsense runner. He's got great feet, can make guys miss. He gets all the yards that are there and then some. I've been really impressed with him. I don't think he's as good out of the backfield as a receiver, but I saw him pick up a blitz last night that was impressive. Picked up Thomas Davis on the blitz early in the game. I see potential in him as well. I think he's going to get a shot, but I don't think it's going to come without competition. I think they will draft someone and bring in another guy and see if they can find someone else to unseat him. But I think he's going to have the leg up on the competition, and going into camp next year, I think he'll be the lead back. Lion Fire says, we were playing scared, and I don't know why. DMV Pride 10 says, as much as I love playoff football, this team is in major need of blue chip players. Drafting in the top half of the draft should bring at least 2. It's the wrong mindset to have. You got to pick players wherever you draft. The New England Patriots don't draft in the top half of the draft every year. You got to find guys. They got Malcolm Butler, who's one of the best corners in the league, undrafted. You have to find these guys. You're not going to... Jamie Collins wasn't a first-round pick. You got to find these dudes. You don't have to draft in the top 10, the top 15 to get good football players. You got to scout these dudes, and you got to figure out if they fit the DNA of a Redskin or whatever it is you're looking for. You got to find out. The only thing you can't account for is a guy's heart. But you talk to enough people, you watch enough tape, and you know what kind of football player you're getting. You got to find these guys. You don't have to draft in the top half of the draft to find these guys. They're good football players all over the place. You just got to find them. And we got to do a better job of finding these guys. And I think since he's come in, our GM has done a really good job of finding these guys. Problem is, it's been on the offensive side of the football, more so than the defensive side of the football. Now we got to start devoting resources to the defensive side of the football and having them pan out. Can't be 5th and 6th round picks. Need to be 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks. A lot of our early picks have been on the offensive side of football. Doxson and Sheriff. Those are first round picks. Those are both offensive football players. Now we spent second round picks on defense. Preston Smith and Sua Cravens. Those guys got to step up and play ball. But I'm looking for a first, second, and a third round pick this year to be defensive football players. Even last year, second and third round, both defensive players. They got to step up, play ball. And all right. I'll read a couple of statements from Jonathan Adams, and then I'm going to get to the final outcome. We'll get out of here. Jonathan Adams says, I would love to get Greg Williams back, no doubt, but at this point, just win these last 2 games and see what happens. Agreed. Also, Jonathan Adams says, I said that before Jonathan Stewart was going to kill us in the run game, and it happened. Dante Whitner, oh my God, what was he doing? Shaking my head. I expected him to at least tackle someone. He's been a disappointment. But again, when you get dudes off the street, this is what you get, man. Like I said, once the season starts, generally speaking, there's nothing worth having out on the street. And with that said, let's go to the final outcome of this week's Bears matchup, Week 16 at Chicago. It's the final outcome. Whoa, yeah. All right, it's really simple. We got to score points. We can't lay another egg like we did last week. The defense isn't any good. We know this. I'm not going to sit here and give you all of these if, but, and statements. Bottom line is we got to score points. We score points, we beat the Bears. We don't, we could lose this game. And I say the same thing every week. It's like a broken record. We need to score 30 or more. That's the motto. It's been the motto all season long. But we rarely score over 30 points. So I've come to the realization that even though we need to score 30, we're not going to score 30. But we can score 29. We can score 27. And I think 27 will be enough to beat the Bears in this game. But I'm not comfortable with that. They just scored 27 versus the Packers on Sunday. So in any event, on Saturday, Christmas Eve, if we put up 27 points, we can beat the Chicago Bears 27-23. Will we beat the Chicago Bears? Is anybody's guess. After what we did on Monday night, you just don't know with this football team. But I'm going 27-23. Skins get the win on the road versus the Bears, setting up a huge matchup in Week 17 versus the New York Giants with a chance to potentially go to the playoffs. It's going to do it for your man, Louie T here. Remember, I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to our beloved Redskins. Took one on the chin last night. Got a big one coming up on Saturday. It'd be nice to get a nice Christmas gift the day before Christmas. A Redskins win, giving us a shot. So all we can ask for is a chance. We'll know if we got a legitimate shot or not by the end of our game on Saturday. Well, I can't say that because the Lions and the Cowboys play on Monday. And so we'll know after Monday if we got a shot. If Week 17 is going to mean a damn thing. We'll know. Because if the Lions win, we're done. We're dead. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you for all of you guys out there joining me and commenting and talking Redskins football. It's been fun. We got one more episode of the Redskins Report live, and that will be next week. That'll be the season finale of the program. So I look forward to talking to you guys and chopping it up with you next week, one final time. Hopefully we'll be extending it out by a week and talking playoff football. Who knows? We'll see. But before we can get there, we got to take care of the Bears. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Until next time, as always, go get them, fellas. Bring home the dub. Give us a chance in Week 17 versus the Giants. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.